Alright guys, just doing a real quick video real quick. We're just going to do maintenance on the stock SFT Shocker rig. This one's just off of private label guns off my Tauntaun Shocker, so the milling is different, but it is the same as a stock rig off just an SFT. So it's pretty simple, only takes a couple minutes and a few Allen keys. We're going to start off by taking out this locking screw right on the top right there. And to do that, we're just going to use a 3/32 Allen wrench. Grab that. Alright, now that you get that locking screw off, you can take off the top. To do that, you're going to need a 3/8 Allen wrench. You know, some Allen sets come with these, some don't. Like this set I picked up the other day doesn't come with a 3/8. But this one does. But that other one also comes with the smaller .050 Allen key you need for the small screw that locks in the eye ribbon on the SFT Shockers. And this one doesn't. So, I mean, it's really a grab bag. It's really good to have. Go pick up a set and then go to the hardware store, and if it doesn't come with anything, generally they'll sell, my hardware store sells single Allen keys. Or you can special order Allen keys, but I find it easier just to go buy 2 different sets to make sure you have everything, and then you know, at worst you've got a couple extra Allen keys. So just go ahead and put that down in the middle, give that a good tug, and that'll come off. And that comes right out, and with that, get the poppet and the poppet spring. We're just going to take the whole thing apart here, and then we'll service each part as it goes. So we're going to take out that bottom piece. To do that, we're just going to use a 3/16 Allen wrench. And just unscrew that cap. And with that, now the valve is down in there. All you gotta do is give this good tap on your hand or desk, whatever you guys want to do, and out comes the valve right there. So you can give that a good tap. It's not gonna harm this in any way. So basically now we got an empty body. So what you guys want to do is look down in there, and there's actually gonna be an O-ring seated down in there, probably about an inch and a half down. Easiest way to clean that is get a Q-tip and clean that in there, making sure not to leave any fibers or anything like that down there. Also, I'm using microfiber cloths here. I'm just going to kind of work that down in there real quick and swipe that out. And doing the same thing to the bottom never hurt either. But this one's pretty clean. I'm just going to leave it alone. All right, so we got 2 different sets. We got the internals from the bottom, we got the internals from the top. So we're just going to start off with the top half of the regulator. We're going to start off with the poppet guide, and just go ahead and wipe off any extra grease that's on there. And we're going to take the poppet and the poppet spring, make sure the poppet spring is nice and clean, which it is. Another thing with the poppet is that, and zoom in just a tad bit here. You'll see the way the poppet is shaped. You've got a flared piece, and it's kind of conical in the fact that the cone kind of points up that way. So, and if you look at it right up on the top of the, we'll call it the cone part of the poppet, right here, there's actually a small O-ring that's embedded in there, and you want to take that, and that's going to be the one thing that causes a lot of regulator problems with these regs. You're going to want to take that and make sure that is especially clean. Definitely double check to make sure you're not leaving, if you're using Q-tips, to leave any of those fibers or any kind of fabric debris, anything like that. This is the, like I said, this is the one thing that's going to cause almost 75% of regulator problems. So just go ahead and make sure that's clean. And the poppet spring. Alright, so those are good. Take the bottom. Just the valve real quick. We're just going to go ahead and clean this off. So now we've got the end cap, spring, spring guide. Spring guide might have a little extra grease on it. The spring and the end cap are really fine. I mean, unless there's an excessive amount of, because this is open right at the bottom. I mean, if you're playing quite consistently, whether it be in the woods or on the tourney field, there's a good chance you're gonna have a lot of paint, dirt, and crap like that coming up just from the bottom. So just make sure that's all nice and clean. And the spring's nice and clean. So now we're at the point where we're just going to throw a first coat of grease on and reassemble it. It's pretty quick, nice and easy. So I'm just using Smart Parts Sleek here. Any kind of Dow 33 for the regular. I recommend, if you have it, Shocker Lube Sleek, Hater Marmalade, not necessarily the Hater sauce. Or I'd want to stick towards more of the more gel silicone based lubes. So real quick, we're just gonna, these two bottom O-rings, just throw a nice easy coat of grease on those. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to put the little top piece back on. Go ahead and put that bottom stuff over there. So, if you look down, you really can't see it unless you really get like maybe a flashlight or something. Really look down in there. Even still, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it sits probably about right here, maybe just a tad bit further down. There's actually an O-ring that's down here embedded into the inside of this poppet guide, and that actually needs a little bit of lube. And the way you get that is you put all this back together. Just take a little bit of grease on your finger and go ahead and just kind of rest it right there on the top of the poppet and the poppet spring. So rest that right there, and go ahead and put that into the poppet guide. And the theory and how that's going to actually work is when the poppet gets pushed up into the spring, gets pushed up into the poppet guide, it's actually going to get that grease up on that O-ring. So you're not trying to you know, get grease on a little tiny toothpick and stuff like that, because that's not going to work. You're going to just end up with a lot of grease in excess for absolutely no reason. So now we can just take that and pop that back into the rag body, screw that back in. Give that a nice tug, tighten that up. And we'll go ahead and put that set screw back in. Nice and hand tight. Because if you, it's actually got a pretty big problem. If you do more than hand tight, a lot of the times, you have, even if the set screw's not in there, you really can't get that poppet guide out, and it almost seizes up in there. And so you don't want to put that in there any harder than you have to. Good hand tight with that screw, and everything's going to seal up nice and fine. So now we're just going to take this valve, and we're going to do just a good coat of grease on this. Now this valve is actually the one part in here where you can, you know, really liberally apply your grease. You want a good coat on this one, on the O-ring here. So do that. And what you're going to do is you're going to just kind of drop it. Now, just in case, it's pretty obvious when it comes out what side it goes up. But if you're looking at it right here, I have it facing right side up, and you're going to see these three little dimpled holes, half holes on the bottom. And you're going to see on the top, there's an embedded O-ring on the circle. This is the upside that goes in facing the top of the regulator. So I'm going to turn it upside down, drop it in here. What you're going to want to do is just put your finger down there and give it a nice push, until you'll feel it just kind of snap into place. It'll hit that pop and it'll just kind of rest in there. Because if you just put it in there and you don't push it down or tighten it or anything, you're going to have some leaking problems. It'll leak right at the bottom of the rig. So now that's about it. These no grease or anything on here. You're going to just, as soon as you make sure that's clean. Just go ahead and pop that into the bottom. Screw it back in. Now if you're doing some maintenance like this, screwing in this end cap, basically I'd start off by putting it, I wouldn't screw it in any farther than right at the start of the threads, right pretty much as low as it's gonna go. So when you don't go to first air up your gun, you're not gonna, you know, send 400 psi through your gun and blow your solenoid. Just start low and then slowly turn it in after you put some air in your gun and work it up to what you need. But definitely start at the bottom, because there's no harm in running, you know, 50 psi through your gun vice running 400, where you're just gonna have to replace more electronics. So that's it, guys. Nice, simple. Will they ever stop? The still mistake cloud to you.